For centuries, the world of fashion has been dominated by high-end brands and famous luxury designers, keeping it just out of reach from the public majority. But now, with a world more connected than ever, fashion is in the hands of content creators and those who create a brand with a story that we can fall in love with. Angela Igbinovia is a fashion content creator, speaker, and community builder who has dreams of having her own clothing line as well as wardrobe consulting. I'm so privileged to have her as the very first guest on this series to hear how she is entering the world of creative entrepreneurship through fashion. Hello, Angela.
Hi.
So for all my viewers that don't know you, who are you and what do you do?
Who am I? So my name is Angela. I'm 21 years old. I currently do content creation and styling. I work for a fashion designer part-time. That's kind of like my main thing that I do. I host events, or I've hosted one. I do a bit of speaking. I would say those are the main things that I do.
Amazing. So take us back to the start. Did you always know what you wanted to do? And if you didn't, how did you come across the discovery of that?
Okay. The start. No, I didn't always know what I wanted to do. Fashion came pretty late in the picture, quite in my late teenhood kind of time. In the beginning, my interest was academics, but also sports. So those were the things that I was good at. So I think when I looked at like what I was doing in secondary school, sixth form, the main things that I was interested in was sports. So I did regional gymnastics for 7 years.
Wow.
And I thought that was where I was gonna go into. But unfortunately, it just didn't work out. But I say unfortunately, but I think it was actually fortunately because it led me to something that I was greater at. Academics is one of my first loves and it will always be something in my heart. I just love learning. I love maths, I love English, I love all of those things, but it's not a career for me. And I think I quickly realised that when it came to like writing my personal statement for university. So yeah, it hasn't always been fashion. It kind of only began when I started Instagram.
Okay, so talk us through that process where the world of content creation started to enter, your mind.
Yeah, so that was sixth form. So year 12, when I was like turning 17, I thought about just starting Instagram. I had a couple of friends who were also into it as well, so we kind of just did it together. And it was very new at the time. Influencing was still a bit of it wasn't a buzzword yet. Neither was content creator very much a thing. So for me, it was simply let's post outfits. So whether that would be, at the time, content days weren't a thing. It was just let's go out and take pictures for Instagram.
So what was the video that changed the game for you and made you take it seriously?
What made me take it seriously on Instagram was probably not actually the videos, but rather the messages that I got.
Wow.
So I think when I began to see that there was a form of impact and a sense of inspiration, I thought, okay, there's a reason to continue, because obviously there were times I just thought I can quit because nobody's holding me to this, like I'm not doing anything in the world, so if I wanted to I could just stop posting. I think it was the messages from like completely random people that I didn't know that would kind of make me keep going. That was mainly Instagram, and then TikTok. I'd also actually get people messaging me on my Instagram about my TikTok, which was interesting. So I get DMs of people like they found me on TikTok and then they would come to find my Instagram again and they'd say that they love what I was doing. So I think just the connection of both, that would be the main thing.
I love that. And what type of content were you making on TikTok?
TikTok was a journey. It began in the beginning of lockdown and it wasn't anything at the beginning. At first it was simply fun. I would call it like the excess of my content day. So if I was like in quarantine, I'd take pictures in my house, whether it be like setting up the white bed sheet in my mum's bedroom and stuff like that. We'd go to my mum's car to take pictures with my sister. After I did that, I'd be like, let me not waste this makeup, let me actually like keep going and like take a video on TikTok. At the time, TikTok was popping. All of the Addison Rays and Charlie D'Amelio's of the world and all of the like dances were very easy at the time. So I think I kind of hopped in on that a bit before it started to get like difficult dances and stuff. I was like, okay, it's a bit much for me. So yeah, it wasn't really anything. I wouldn't say there was a genre to it. And then I think I began to create Christian content just because out of nature I talk about God anyways. The video for me that went viral was the one about my playlist. It wasn't even a playlist, it was just songs. So I just had like R&B, Christian, like all of these new kind of artists that were intriguing me, that weren't just the traditional Kirk Franklin, Fred Hammond, William McDowell, which are people that I absolutely love and stand forever. But finding a different genre that was still edifying to the spirit was very important for me. So I think that skyrocketed. I think after that I might have gained like about 2,000 followers, and then from then on it kind of just kept going, and I was just creating content off the back of it, and I really did enjoy it, and I enjoyed connecting with more people who were also Christian, who also like to create content at the time as well.
So for a while you were creating solely Christian content and joining that community. So talk us through what happened that made you rethink that journey. So
I think from lockdown all the way up until the end of first year, which is quite a long time, that was probably like a year and a half, I was creating Christian content on my page. There were moments I did create fashion content as well, but it wouldn't do as well. So I think I kind of just stuck with the Christian content, because I was like, if this is doing well, then let me just stick with what is doing well. But I realized that wasn't kind of the mindset to have. And I think the transition out of it began mainly in second year. So at the beginning of second year, I started a new page called, it's actually my Instagram name, so Igbinovia, and it was solely fashion and lifestyle content. And I don't actually use that page anymore, but I don't regret the decision to make that page, simply because it taught me so much skill. The Christian TikTok was solely making content that was trendy and like using trending sounds, but there was no element of skill that I had to add to it. But it was the fashion and lifestyle content that taught me how to edit content and make videos and use CapCut and use different fonts and different like quick edits, slow edits, just all of those like small things that I really wanted to learn, which I could only learn by creating fashion and lifestyle content. So it was a season of life that I really enjoyed. My page did well for the time being, and I think when I decided to bring everything together was when I realized that I was separating the content for the people rather than for myself. And I wanted to make sure that there was, although I'm trying to feed people, I'm not outside of the vision of God, and I'm not outside of doing what I want to do. Because if I don't want to do what I want to do, how am I supposed to be consistent and create out of the goodness of my heart? So I think that was a major thing that brought the two together, and it was no longer let me like create fashion content on the side. It was more so let me show my Christianity through the fashion. I love that. Okay, so for a change of scenery now, we're gonna just walk along the canal and see if we can try and find a little cafe, get something to eat or get something to drink. So we'll see you guys in a bit. Cheers. So talk us through how you're now discerning the will of God in your life through content creation. I'd say it takes a lot of break times. So whether it be fasting and just kind of asking God what he wants me to do, also having those pausing and not just immediately going. So I could easily just post, but I kind of just always consult God, and I just think, okay, is this what you want for me? And I think with my TikTok, at the moment, I'd say I'm in a position where I'm trying to figure out exactly the vision. So that's why I find myself sometimes stopping and starting, because I want to make sure I'm doing this right. So if there's a video that I feel like God wants me to post, I'll post it. But it's not a consistency like Instagram where I have the full vision, I believe.
Throughout this process, you've come through some amazing achievements. Your first speaking engagement, you've hosted, a community for creatives called The Harvest, and actually been a stylist for some artists. So what's been your biggest highlight so far?
I don't think there's anything specifically. I think it's just the doing process of actually going out and doing something, even without realizing it. So there's moments I'm not conscious of the fact that I'm like hosting an event or like speaking at an event, but I realized that the way I got myself to the point of something coming into fruition is by simply just doing, even if I don't feel like it, even if I don't feel like this is the time, or even if I feel like I'm underqualified, simply just doing on that basis. There's always work that gets done because I've done it and not thought about it, and it's obviously I've not put thoughts into it, but it's just not consciously always having enough time to put myself down.
What does it mean for you to be a creative entrepreneur, and how are you going through your journey of discovering that for yourself?
I think entrepreneur is a very heavy title, so I think that's why I was like, how I'm discovering this for myself. is by always having something to put out, and it can be the same thing. It doesn't have to be something different. I think God is very seasonal, so like there'll be seasons where there's a focus here, and then there'll be seasons where there's a focus somewhere else. So that's why I'm always kind of trying to do different things, not because like I don't want to be known as a person that, oh, she's doing all of this and that. Like, it's not about having the name of, oh, she's multifaceted, but it's more so just about, I feel like if you have skills, use them.
Yeah.
And if you have the platform, use it. And if you are, you know, you're young and fresh, do everything you possibly can at this age before you kind of get old and you may not have that chance to. So I can look back on my 20s and say, yeah, like I did all of this stuff because I could, like, just because I can. Do you know what I mean? So,
I love that. And so this show is predominantly for people who are on the start of a very great journey ahead.
Yeah.
And that's the same for you. So give us a small picture, a glance of what the next 10 years could possibly have for you.
10 years, that is crazy. 31. To create a long-standing social presence that people know exactly what I'm for the minute they can see me. 10 years is also to have my fashion brand, which is going to be a big part of everything that I am, which is why there's this journey of building up my social presence and this journey of building up an identity on my social media. And 10 years is also including styling and consulting. And that's just the element of really helping people find their identity through their clothing, because it's a really big part of people's understanding of themselves. And it's also continuing to create spaces for people to come together, whether it be an event or just hosting something that's completely out of the blue, out of character for a lot of people, that allows people to really step outside of their comfort zone, that they can say it's something they've never done before. And I don't know what that could look like, because everything has been done under the sun, but where there's a will, there's a way. So
absolutely, I love that. Thank you so much for painting that for us. And just one final question: if you could go back in time to exactly 1 year ago, what would you love to tell Angela then?
I would tell her something that a friend of mine told me, which is, you think too small.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd say you think too small.
That's amazing. Okay, thank you so much for being a part of this interview. We'd love to get to know you better, so where can we find you?
Okay, so on my Instagram I am Angela X Novia. On my TikTok I am Angela Igbinovia. On my YouTube I'm also Angela X Novia.
Amazing. Alright, so this has been Angela's story. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.